So this week's Torah portion is called Parshat Bo. Bo means to come. And the beginning of the portion is God speaking to Moses. And he says, Bo al Paro, come to Pharaoh. And of course the rabbis all ask, why does he say come to Pharaoh and not go to Pharaoh? And the answer the rabbis give is that Moses was fearful. He didn't have the courage to go. And God says, come and I'll go with you. But on a deeper level, the Chassidic masters tell us that God was telling Moses that the inner strength you need, the courage, the faith in yourself is within you. Bo, come into yourself and you're going to find that courage. It's not somewhere outside that you have to find it. It's somewhere within. It's remarkable because we're reading about the 10 plagues and we read about each plague and the way God hardened the heart of Pharaoh. At the beginning it was Pharaoh on his own, then God hardened it till we came to the 10th plague. What's interesting is that in the beginning of the plagues, when Moses is hesitant to go to Pharaoh, as he is this time, he tells God, Hein b'nei Yisrael lo shamu elai. The Jewish people didn't listen to me and didn't believe in me. How do you expect Pharaoh to? And the rabbis say that this is one of the places in the Torah where we have a kal v'chomer, which says, if I can't do the lesser, how do you expect me to do something that's even greater? But the question all the rabbis ask is, I don't understand. How could Moses compare Pharaoh to the Jewish people? The Jewish people might not listen to Moses because they're stressed, they're shortness of breath, as he says himself. They can't handle the enslavement. But Pharaoh, he's a king. Of course he'll listen to Moses. And the answer the rabbis give is something very beautiful. And they say like this, and something that's so pertinent to the Jewish people today. They say what Moses was saying was like this to God. The only way we could get Pharaoh to believe in our cause, that we have the right to be free and the right to live a life of freedom, is if we believe in ourselves. We need to have the faith in what we're selling in order to be able to convince Pharaoh. And the same is true as a parent, as an educator. How much more so as a Jew? If we don't believe in what we are saying, then how do we expect our children, our students, the UN or anyone else to believe in it? I remember that's what the Rebbe said when he spoke about Israel. He said, we have to say, not that Israel is a state for 75 years or for 77 years, but that this is the country that God gave to the Jewish people 3,300 years ago. It's not about what the UN said. It's about the gift that God gave on the land that God gave to the Jewish people, that everyone believes in the Torah and the Tanakh and the scriptures. I once heard this remarkable story from Rabbi Lau, chief rabbi of Israel, how he said he got to meet David Ben-Gurion once in his life. It was in 1973. Ben-Gurion had already retired to his home in Sde Boker, where he was in retirement. He was having issues with his feet. He couldn't walk. And he once called and asked for Rabbi Lau to come visit him. He had 2 questions on the Tanakh. He loved the Tanakh, which is the scriptures and the prophets and the Bible, and he had 2 questions. Rabbi Lau came and he asked him the 2 questions, and Rabbi Lau answered them to the best of his ability. And then Rabbi Lau said to him, I have 2 questions for you. Could I ask you a question? And he said, sure. And Rabbi Lau said, I want to confirm a story that I heard about you. And he said, what's the story? He said, I heard that it was in the time of the Peel Commission, 1937, if there should be a state of Palestine, should become Israel. And that you, David Ben-Gurion, went to speak there. And you spoke for 3 hours in remarkable terms, and everyone was mesmerized by you. But then when you were done, Lord Peel says to you, tell me, where are you from? And you said, from Plunsk. And you said, where's that? And you said, in Poland. And then in a quiet undertone, he said, interesting, all the Palestinians who have come to speak, all the Arabs that have come to speak, that the land should be theirs, they were born in Palestine. But you, all the Jews who have come, you were born in the Middle East. And everyone was shocked and quiet. And at that moment, David Ben-Gurion, Rabbi Lau was telling him the story about himself, became aware of the Tanakh he was holding that he had sworn on. And Lord Peel had asked him, where's your Kushan? Kushan is the term in the Ottoman Empire they used for a deed to a property. Where's your Kushan? They have a Kushan. And David Ben-Gurion picked up the Tanakh. And he says, this is my Kushan. This is something that the most believed book in the world by billions of people. And I know you in London alone revere this book. Read what it says about Abraham, about Isaac, about Jacob, about Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, and Rivka, about God giving them the land. That's my Kushan. That's my deed. So Rabbi Lau looks at David Ben Gurion and says, is this a true story? And David Ben Gurion answered, Emet v'yatzib, which means true and it stands. Then Rabbi Lau says, he asked him another question. He says, imagine if I had a deed to property. And I went and I crumpled the deed and I threw it on the floor and I disregarded it and I laughed at it. Would anyone respect it? And basically what he was insinuating was, and what he said to Ben Gurion was, he said, I don't understand, if this is our deed to the land of Israel, why do we pick and choose? Why do we desecrate and laugh at the Torah? And Rabbi Lau says that David Ben Gurion didn't respond to that question. But the message is like this. What Moses was saying, and when Rabbi Lau spoke to David Ben Gurion, is the most powerful words. If we want a strong Israel, if we want a strong Jewish people, we can't sell things we don't believe in. We need to believe in it ourselves. And we need to understand the value of it. You know, today there was a story in Israel with a jihadist in the Jenin refugee camp that tried to plan a suicide bombings, and Israel went in to deter them, and people got killed. And the whole world's screaming, and the Palestinian Authority said, well, we're canceling our security cooperation with Israel. All these bluff and tactics. Israel's trying to protect its citizens. We have to believe in our right and in what we're doing. We're protecting our citizens and our people, which every country would do. When you believe in that, and when you have the strength of conviction, then all the noise and the UN and the courts and the leftists that scream against Israel, the rightists that scream against Israel, all those people are irrelevant because you believe in it. My friends, let's have faith and pride in the gift that God has given us, the Torah, the land of Israel, the people of Israel. And then the world will listen. Have a great day.